We had the Married at First Sight season finale on last night, and Zach and Mindy are now dating. Holy crap, last night we had the season finale of Married at First Sight, and it might have been the most dramatic and explosive season yet. In a few minutes, I will do a play-by-play for each of the couples, but we need to start off with Zach and Mindy. If you forgot about Zach and Mindy, they're right there. They're the couple that they were kind of going well, and then they ended up prematurely getting a divorce because Zach and Mindy couldn't connect. Zach wasn't opening up. A lot of us fans thought Zach was just on the show for fame. However, while the show was going on, Zach and Mindy were spotted by People magazine walking into a Whole Foods. So I knew something was up. Either they stayed together or they, worked things out, but when they ended up getting a divorce, something didn't seem to add up. However, last night, Married at First Sight showed the preview for the Married at First Sight tell-all, which was filmed 5 months after the season, and the host said it. He looked at Zach and Mindy. It was all in one clip, so I know it wasn't staged. I know it wasn't fake, and he said, so you guys are dating, and you could tell clear as day they are together. That scene right there, combined with the People magazine spotting them together, I'm about 99.9999% sure that Zach and Mindy somehow, one way or another, ended up working things out and now are pursuing a romantic relationship. Kind of crazy. Maybe Zach just opened up more off camera. Maybe something huge happened. Maybe Zach opened his eyes and realized that, wow, Mindy is a catch. She is genuine. She is sweet. I don't know what happened, but I'm about 99% sure, and it is just super surprising. Okay, on to the next couples. We have to start off with Brandon and Taylor. I was even shocked that Brandon even showed up. This guy has no place on this show, and thank God they didn't invite Brandon to the tell-all. I've heard that from MAFS fan on Instagram. He wasn't invited. No one could stand this guy. The producers, the love experts, and the Married at First Sight cast. No one liked Brandon. He was very rude, very explosive. I've heard from a couple other of the previous castmates that yes, while Brandon was being rude and a jerk and just overall annoying, they gave him a little credit because they did say that the producers and the film crew can get a little bit irritating. And if you're already someone that doesn't like to be on camera a lot to begin with, it could push you over the edge. Like, remember AJ? AJ got very frustrated. AJ was on, I believe, last season. He was getting very frustrated, very annoyed. It might be a similar scenario. However, I am not giving Brandon any, credit or nothing like that. I think Brandon was out of his mind crazy, and I feel bad for Taylor. Maybe Taylor is nuts too. I don't have the slightest idea. In the preview for the tell-all, the host asked Taylor. It appeared that he said, so you got arrested? So I don't know. Maybe she's crazy. Clearly, I forgot to mention that Taylor and Brandon did get a divorce. Taylor said it, Brandon stood up and walked out the door because the guy is nuts. Now, I don't want to tell this guy off too much because I think he is seriously crazy and out of his mind. So I don't even want to get into that whole Brandon-Taylor situation too much. I hope, Taylor can find what she's looking for. I thought from the start that she was drop-dead stunningly gorgeous and just had a cool personality. Maybe in person she doesn't. Who knows? Next couple would be Jessica and Austin. Clearly, what do you expect? What do you think happened? It was a double whammy. Yes, Austin said yes, and he even said, I love you. Austin is starting to look more and more like Jessica. Is this just me thinking this? But every time I see Austin, it's like I'm starting to see Jessica. It's really weird, kind of creepy. It's like Austin's growing his hair out more, his skin tone, and next thing you know, in about 5 years, he's going to be a cloned replica of her. It's really odd, but all in all, they're a good couple. I'm sure they're going to make it. I wish them nothing but the best. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of weird stuff going on with his job and the traveling. I think Jessica is kind of a control freak. I could be wrong. Maybe she's not, but she was portrayed as a control freak on the show. And it just seems like with Austin's job and the traveling, she seems a little bit on the clingy side. Nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, I am extremely clingy when I like the girl. Now, I'm not always clingy, but when I like the girl, I am very clingy. It actually seems to kind of turn people away, and I think Jessica's kind of that same way. She was talking about how they're going to FaceTime when he travels and they're going to eat dinner together and watch a TV show together. That seems like a little much, but hey, if Austin wants it and Jessica wants to do it, you knock yourself out. Hopefully they have a good time together. So Austin and Jessica, they both said yes, they were off to the races, and they appear to be doing really well. Next couple up is Mika and Michael. And oh my God, they're right there with Taylor and Brandon. Just one of the most bizarre couples I have ever seen on this show. And it all goes back to Michael. Nothing to do with Mika. Mika, she was a tad bit judgmental, a little bit rude, a little bit ornery, but all in all, she's a catch. She's a nice girl. She's cute. Not that much wrong with her. She's a little bit ornery, though. I'm not going to lie to you guys. She's a little bit ornery. Obviously, clearly, Mika said no. There was no doubt in my mind, and I heard the rumors that Mika and Michael got a divorce. I heard that, but I had no doubt. So Mika walks in. She was talking about pretty much all just the bad, little bit of good, but not much good, really, with her and Michael, because Michael lied the entire 8 weeks. Michael walks in and starts talking. Now, Michael, if you are watching this, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I wish, and here's this piece of my advice from me to you, man to man. Stop talking in circles, Michael. And the same goes to Zach. Zach was, notorious for talking in circles. Michael does the exact same thing, and maybe even worse than Zach. Michael started talking to the love experts when they were at, on decision day about this, and you couldn't even, I was trying to pay attention to what he was talking about. It didn't make any bit of sense. I had no idea what he was even trying to say. Couldn't understand it. It was about this and that, and it was just a mess. It was annoying, and Mika finally just said, we had some good times, we had some bad times. The bad outweighed the good, and I want to get a divorce. And they showed Michael, and you would have thought Michael just lost everything. His house, his job, his life, his family. You would have thought this guy was done on his deathbed with coronavirus. He just looked that depressed and sad, and he just looked horrible. And it was the funniest thing, because I saw him, and it was like my TV just paused. They showed him for like 10 or 15 seconds of him just standing there like this. He was sitting like this, and it went on and on and on, and finally he just said, I didn't expect that, and I don't believe in divorce. And I'm sitting by myself thinking, number one, you went on Married at First Sight, where the success rate is probably like 20%, so obviously you knew divorce was a possible option. Number two, you lied the entire season. Very little, if anything, what this guy said appeared to be true. Maybe the Married at First Sight people just, cut it up and they clipped it and he seemed like a liar and he wasn't. I doubt that's the truth. I think he lied all the time because he is a compulsive liar. Kind of like Brandon, but Brandon is just a little bit more, crazy. Michael seems to be a terribly nice guy, a guy you would want to hang out with about once a month. Not very often, but you'd go get lunch with him. He seems to be a good time. But you have to know, when you see a guy like Michael, every word that comes out of that guy's mouth is a complete lie. So if you're someone like Mika, you have to accept that your husband is a liar, and you have to take every word that comes out of his mouth with a grain of salt. Or you can't be married to him. And Mika is just a clean cut, to the point, she just no messing around, no fooling around kind of girl, and she can't be married to a liar or even someone that even probably exaggerates, because she is so to the point. And Michael, he's a liar. So I knew it wasn't going to work. Michael was shocked. I don't know why. And that is why Michael, seemed to actually get an annulment. The couples ended up getting together and they had a little bit of a dinner, drink kind of thing after decision day. And Michael, he sat on the opposite side of the table as Mika. He didn't even say hi to her, I don't think. He seemed very upset and hurt. And I just don't know where this is coming from. Maybe he has some, emotional problem. I wouldn't be shocked, because he is a compulsive liar. So long story short, Michael and Mika, shocker, they didn't stay together. Last but not least, and probably the most interesting, is Katie and Derek. Now, I don't want to say too much, but I followed Katie, who I love dearly because she is a type 1 diabetic, on Instagram. She was kind enough to, I don't know if she followed me back, but I messaged her, said hey, she reached back out. We had a quick little brief chat, and she wasn't being very specific, I can tell you that. She wasn't saying, me and Derek, we stayed together or we got a divorce. She wasn't really getting into that, but she was making comments about Derek and the show and everything that wasn't seen on camera. And it seemed like she was kind of, pushing more towards her and Derek split up. So last night, Katie and Derek, decision day, Derek said yes. Little bit awkward, little bit cringy, and Katie was thinking, and she said yes. I was so shocked I almost fell out of my seat. However, we saw a preview for the Married at First Sight tell-all, which, like I said, it was filmed 5 months after decision day, and the host said that Katie cheated on Derek. Now, that could have been cut up. Maybe that didn't happen. I don't really know. Hey, I wish this couple nothing but the best. I have a very serious hunch from the brief messages I had with Katie and from MAFS fan and the preview for the tell-all that they do end their marriage. So at this point, we had 5 couples. 2 of them said yes, Austin and Jessica, and Katie and Derek, and now it's looking like we're down to 1 because I just have a gigantic hunch that Katie and Derek did end their marriage after decision day. They tried to give it a shot. Who knows why? Maybe they wanted it to work. I don't know. But the messages that Katie, and I don't want to get, she wasn't saying too much, but she was just saying a lot happened off camera. We didn't have much chemistry. She was saying stuff like that in a past tense, which makes me believe that they aren't going to work. So yes, Katie and Derek did say yes. And if Katie did cheat on Derek when they were married, that would be shocking. I wouldn't believe it. That would be really unfortunate, especially because I'm growing to like Katie and Derek. I think Derek, great guy. I have nothing against Derek, and I don't have anything against Katie. I think Katie is like me and other people that are younger, and she's just not ready to settle. Maybe Katie went on a little bit prematurely for her age. Like, I couldn't go on Married at First Sight right now because I am so picky. I feel like Katie's kind of the same way. Whereas someone like Austin and Jess, they're at the age, they want to settle down, they're not very picky. But someone like Katie and maybe even Taylor, and for sure like Mika, they just kind of want to shop around a little bit. And like me too, I'm not ready. They're being picky, nothing wrong with that. Katie has seemed to gotten just so much hate, right up there with Michael and Brandon, and I'm a little bit shocked because she claims that there's 2 sides to the story and the TV show is making her seem out to be kind of like a rude and just not a nice person to Derek, but she was claiming that, the TV show did a lot of editing and there was a lot of stuff, that wasn't shown on camera, and that is why I asked her to come on my podcast to do an exclusive interview, and she agreed to it. So if you guys want to hear an interview with Katie, it sounds like she's willing to come on. I have to kind of probably beg her a little bit, but I think she's willing to come and talk and share her side of the story. I would love to do the interview. So if you guys want to hear it, put in the comments below. I want to make sure enough of you guys want to hear it before I go and do it. So let me know that you do want to hear an interview with Katie, but I would love to do it, and I am curious because Katie and Derek on the surface seemed to work. And I have been in relationships like this too. On the surface, they seem good, but when you dig a little bit deeper, they don't have much in common. There's not much romantic chemistry. And all in all, maybe they would be a good couple to date for a couple months, maybe even a year. But realistically, do they want to spend the rest of their lives together? Probably not. So we don't know for sure on Katie and Derek. Last night on decision day, they both said yes, but I have a gigantic hunch that they ended their marriage. Crazy, 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 crazy season of Married at First Sight. And hey, we aren't done yet. We have the tell-all next week, which I am dying to see. But you guys heard it right here. I am making the assumption, and I'm about 99% sure, Mindy and Zach, they ended up working things out, and they are back together, and they are dating. You can mark my words. I'll put my money where my mouth is, and that's what I'm betting. But we'll have to wait and see. Put in the comments below what you guys have thought of this insane, crazy Married at First Sight season. It's just been crazier than anything I've ever seen on this show. I'm shocked. I can't believe it. But I want to hear from you guys. And also, if you want to hear an interview with me and Katie from Married at First Sight, put in the comments below. Let me know, and I will get on that interview ASAP. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for many more videos.